Hey guys, welcome to Sun Vibes, where you get to discover your true authentic self. I'm your host, Ayasha Roberson, and on today's episode, we're going to be just focusing on our intentions as we talk about the end of the year. Can you believe it is November 30th, 2022? We just got finished celebrating a new moon last week, and we're also in the season of Sagittarius as well. So shout out to all the Sagittarius who are celebrating their birthday throughout the rest of the holiday season. And I'm so excited and so elated. I don't know about you guys, but 2022 has been an exciting year for me as far as spiritual growth. I am so thrilled to be able to grow so spiritually this year. And I had no idea that I was going to be growing in this way this year because I believe me and most people think when we start a new year and we're in the midst of the end of a year, we think about all the things that we're going to have physically with tangible rewards. Well, spiritually, it's more rewarding for me to be spiritually growing and emotionally growing and also physically and mentally growing as well in my spiritual walk. And this year has been a great spiritual enlightenment and empowering year for me. So I want to talk a little bit about the full moon that's going to come up on December 7th. And then also I want to talk a little bit about how to really set your goals and intentions and not get so overwhelmed and so frustrated and so focused. So, number one is just having really good vibrational energy. One of the things that I do all the time, especially when I have to go into the work into my other job, working in the hospital, is I try to have some type of routine so it can kind of allow for me to focus. Because a lot of times, most people aren't really aware. Some people are, and I think there's more people that are starting to become more aware of other people's energy. So when I walk into the office, whether it's my own office, it's a little different, but if I walk into a hospital setting, I'm with other people, I can feel that vibrational energy. Even sometimes when I'm in my office, I can still feel other people's energies around, and I'm very sensitive to other people's energies. So I want to make sure I don't get off track. I don't want to make sure that my vibrational energy is not down. So I have to do some things to kind of have like a little morning work routine. So we know that most people have a morning routine. A lot of people this year in 2022 started developing spiritual morning routines, which is great because you have to wake up a certain amount of time. A lot of times, through my experience, whether you have children or not, to kind of get your spiritual morning routine started before you start your regular morning routine. So, one of the things that I do when I get into work is that I actually go into the chapel, and they actually have a book at one of the hospitals that I work at, and it's not a prayer request book. I think a lot of people think it is because it's a really big book. It has some length to it, so it's like this, but it says prayer intentions. So we know based off of intentions, you have to really speak the things that you want into your life like you already have them. So one of the things I've learned this year is just to write down every intention, whether the intention has manifested or not. I don't even think of it. What if it hasn't manifested? I already think that it has already have. So it's very easy for me to write down my intentions. And I do that each and every day when I go into the hospital. And it actually sets tone for the day, and it allows my energy and my spirit to kind of be arise any type of adversity or situation that I may come across unexpectedly or expectedly throughout my workday, so my energy frequency is not lowered. And one thing about vibrating on a good energy and staying positive, you have to kind of know yourself and be self-aware. And one of the things I've talked about on Facebook and Instagram, if you follow me there, is about being really in tune and tapped into your inner being and knowing who you are as a person. So you have to be somewhat spiritually aware of your frequency and if other people are lowering your frequency as well. And a lot of times we're around negative people and we don't really see them as negative people. We just see them as maybe our colleagues or coworkers because we spend a lot of time at work, or we just see them as our relatives. And it's very normal for them to react and talk and behave in that manner, but we may not notice that it's really negative type of manner. And a lot of times negative energy is very contagious, especially if you spend a lot of time around other people. Subconsciously, you start acting like them. Subconsciously, you start thinking like them. Subconsciously, you start behaving like them, which is not a good thing. So one of the things I have done through my spiritual walk is really just being aware of people's energies. And now, as I'm stronger spiritually with my intuitiveness, I'm able to really kind of scope out if people have some type of negative intentions or some type of motivations, and I kind of can take a step back from it. I don't go and tell other people, oh, that person has negative intentions or anything of that nature. I kind of allow people to kind of feel their own way through the situation. If they come up to me and ask me, then I'll tell them. Because some people may not believe you what you say. Someone's intentions is not, you know, good because they may not understand or see it yet. So sometimes you just gotta take a step back and let people kind of experience on their own, keep them in prayer, and keep it moving. Now, I just gave you one example of how to really set an intention if you're working, if you're going into work, the workplace, or even if you're working at home, you have to do something. So if you're working at home, which is a great thing that I used to do a lot when we started the pandemic almost 2 years ago. Well, I didn't do it a lot, but I had some capability of working from home. One of the things I used to do is the 369 manifestations. And I believe I've talked about that before. You can go to my website at www.urbansocialnj.com so you can see a little bit more about how to write the 369 manifestations. And it's actually a way to just create a lot of the negative thoughts that we have in our heads. And I didn't look at it as a discoration. It was something that I actually picked up. I think last year I was reading something towards the end of last year, and said 369 manifestation. So every morning you write three things. I will have success. I will receive money. I will be successful. I have money. I have wealth, I have success, I have beauty, I have power, I have love. So you can write three things in the morning, three things in the afternoon, and then three things at night. And it's supposed to be something that you continuously write, and you can read it too. So one of the things I suggest to clients is that you can read your 3-6 manifestation before you go to bed at night, because that's probably the best way to do it. You write it in the morning, and you read it before you go to bed at night. Put it underneath your pillow, put it in your pillowcase, inside your pillow. You have a pillowcase, hopefully, and you can sleep on it. And that's a way of conditioning your mind about your thoughts. So you're not going to bed feeling negative. You're not going to bed having these negative thoughts about your day or things didn't work out. And you're training your subconscious mind to think more positively. You can do that for however long the universe wants you to do. And that's a way for you to kind of set the tone in the morning. If you're one of those people that have to work home from you working from home, that's a good way of setting your manifestations versus someone like me who also has capability of working from home as well, but I also work in in a location. So I may not have the time to do a 369 manifestation when I come into work. So that's why I said I go into the chapel, because I work also in a hospital as well. And they have like a prayer intention. If you don't have a prayer intention book inside the place that you work, like a hospital and stuff, because hospitals usually have chapels, you can always go in there, meditate, pray, set the attention and tone for today. You can say, today I'm going to have a peaceful day, and kind of just breathe out and breathe out, breathe in, and do that like 3 times, touching your hand and your stomach. And you can do like a which is for your third eye, that helps you gain more insight, or a lum or rum or hum. These are different things that's going to help you open up your chakras, but also keep you somewhat balanced as well. And I'm actually going to talk more about the chakras and what they mean on another episode of Sun Vibes as well. So stay tuned for that. So these are just some ways to keep your vibrational energy up so you're not vibing on a negative energy path. I want you to be able to feel good about yourself, because we are in a universe of feelings. So the universe is going to respond based on how you feel. And if you feel good, then your thoughts will transmit those feelings as well. Just like sometimes we're visualizing us with our husbands or our boyfriends or significant others or wives or children, and we're doing all these great things, especially when we are starting a new relationship. We visualize all these great things with this new person in our life. However, those visualizations usually kind of fade out eventually because you get to know the person, you see all this negative stuff, and you having all these negative thoughts about the person. You have to consistently have that vibrational view of you and that person, and that you're still right on that magical frequency. Now, on a flip side, if the person has negative energy, they have negative vibrational energy, they're toxic, they're controlling, they're emotionally abusive, they're physically abusive, they're sexually abusive, and so forth, and there's other things that's going on, then that may not be the person that you should be with, because most women versus men tend to be a little bit more nurturing, which is a great thing, but we also tend to enable as well behaviors. So there's a difference between enabling a behavior versus empowering someone, which I will talk about on the next episode of Sunrise. And I will be able to describe to you the two different components between enabling and empowering, because a lot of people get it confused, and a lot of people that enable think they're empowering, a lot of people empowering is enabling. So there's a very thin line between both of them. It happens to most people because they don't know the difference, and a lot of it comes from your emotional childhood needs that were not met, because a lot of times we have a lot of trauma and childhood experiences that we didn't get through, and those experiences and traumas just translate on into our adult life, and then we project those behaviors and those attentions, and we do those things when we're in relationships, especially when we're in relationships with our significant others, our partners, and we do these types of behaviors that are very destructive, they're reckless, and they don't do anything that's going to help you uh, on a physical level, on a mental level, on a spiritual level, don't help you at all. You're just really stuck and you're stagnated. So these are some of the things that you could do as far as, really keeping your vibrational energy up, especially during the holiday season, because there's so many people who talk about, they're going to spend the holidays with their family and friends, or they're going to travel someplace. And, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who don't have that type of money to travel and go places, which is fine, because you shouldn't be doing things based off of other people. But we live in a society where people are just very, very, very influenced by what they see, what other people are doing, and by other people's experiences. Now, that could be a good thing. It can empower you to want to be able to have those things, but it also can be a bad thing, because some people will just do it just to do it, because they want to keep up with the Joneses, and they want to be a part of the conversation and say what they did and what they did, and they did this and they did that, and it becomes a competition. So you have to be able to have some type of level of clarity and self-awareness about yourself, and take part in conversations like, oh, that's really nice, that's great. And keep it moving, and not see it as a competition. So it takes a lot of maturity, it takes spiritual growth to get to those levels as well. So you have to be able to just focus on yourself, on your spiritual growth, on you. Now, I know that you're saying it's the end of the year. We have less than 30 days, about 31 days to go before the end of the year. I can't accomplish my goals. My goals are done. No, your goals are not done. You can accomplish your goals. You can achieve your goals as well. So think about what things you want to achieve before the end of the year. Just think about whatever the goals may be, what goals you didn't set, or intentions that you want to achieve before the end of the year. Just set the intention. I want to be able to save X amount of dollars before the end of the year. I would suggest not to give yourself like a amount of what you want to save. Just say, I want to just save money, and just leave it open-ended. Because when you put resistance in, it doesn't allow for the universe to do what it does. We want to go on the path of least resistance. So that's the path that you want to go when it comes to you setting the tone, the path of least resistance. So if you say, "Oh, I want to set $700, save $700 by the end of the year," you know, you may not be able to save $700. Something may happen before the end of the year, or you may need to use the money that you already have saved, which could almost add up to $700, but you may have needed for something else. And then you get upset and you get frustrated and get all upset and don't do that. Don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. Just say, I just want to save or set the attention for what you want to save, what you want to do by the end of the year, and just allow for the universe to manifest that. Now, you're going to continue to do the things that you're doing, whether you're saving, whether you're working towards launching your new business, whether you're working on a new hair product, whether you're going to be starting a new job, whether you're going to be starting a new school. You're going to be working on these things, but you're not going to be so working on it to the point where you're going to be like, "Oh, I got to check this. I got to do." You can't be frustrated. You can't put that type of energy into it where you're like this anxiety and this fearness and this overwhelming to take control, and this is all you can focus on. Because if you do that, anything that you set is not going to manifest the way that you want it. It's not going to manifest at all. It actually is going to just stagnate things, and you're just going to be in this really phase of stagnation because you won't be able to move forward spiritually. You'll keep on bumping that wall. So I'm showing you ways of how not to do that. So I gave you a lot of pointers for this episode of Sun Vibes of how to really keep that vibrational energy in a good frequency and a positive mindset by one, doing some things, having like a routine when you get to work, whether you can do the 369 manifestations as well when you're starting your shift at work, or if you're working from home. I also talked about how to really just put your intentions and set your intentions out there so you can not get so upset at yourself or worried that the things are not manifesting, and just to kind of just play with it, go with the flow. This is a feeling universe. I talked about your feelings as well and how you have to really feel good about what intentions you're setting out there. You just can't say, "I'm going to do it, it's going to work." You have to be, "I am doing it, it's working out, great things are coming my way, and I am feeling so free and lovely and beautiful and carefree and colorful and vibrational. Energy is coming my way. I can touch it and taste it and smell it." You can say it to yourself. You can actually say it in your mind as well, and you can actually feel your vibrational energy just lifting to that next level. And when you're lifting your vibrational energy, you're connecting with different people on a different energy field. So I want you to be able to just really consume the knowledge that I'm giving to you on this episode. So make sure you check out my previous blog and previous episode of Sun Vibes. So that's at www.urbansocialnj.com. So I have a blog called Set Your Day. And the previous episode, we actually talked about transformation, rebirth, ending cycles, and shadow work during the season of Scorpio. And since we're in the season, the beautiful season of Sagittarius, which is the most busiest sign of the zodiac, and they're also the ones that love to travel, and that's where they get a lot of their energy and inspiration from. On the next edition of Sunrise, which will be, on the next edition of Saturday, I will have talking about Sagittarius season and how we have to just flow with the universe and all the good energy that comes with this sign. So when we're talking about, speaking your truth, and really finding your way and being optimistic as you want to continue to be a positive beacon of light. Now we had the 11/11 portal that started it actually started a couple of days before 11/11, November 11th. But that portal will come to an end, and actually has come to an end on November 29th. So if you are manifesting great things throughout this year, you should see great things already starting to come down from the spiritual plane into the earth plane. So just think about the things that you have already manifested in your life this year, from the beginning of the year all the way to right now, and look back at it and just be grateful and be thankful that you were able to just go with the flow of the universe and not allow anyone to break your spirits, to break your energy flow, or to break your thoughts, like not to allow people to get in your headspace, because it takes a very powerful person to continue to be on this vibrational energy pattern. And I know it sometimes gets a little lonely through your journey, because the people that you're with now are people who or you won't be able to be with as you go into a different frequency. Your energy pattern is lifting, you're vibrating on a different energy pattern, so you're going to be able to come into new opportunities and blessings and miracles for yourself and other people. And the universe wants you to meet people who are going to be able to flow into that pattern with you. They want you to be with people who are on the same playing field. And unfortunately, sometimes our family, our friends, even people that we've known for years, they can't go into the same frequency. And I think adults struggle a lot with that just as much as children. And I believe it's because there's something within your childhood, like you're emotionally tied to that person, and you may have started that friendship at 11, 12, 13 years old, but this person is not on the same frequency and probably was somewhat on, or maybe not really on the same frequency, or maybe they were, but now you have ascended and you can't no longer be on that frequency level with that person. And the universe has so many great things in store for you. And I want you to be able to taste it, touch it, feel it, and actually explore it and actually enjoy it. And you won't be able to enjoy it with the people that you're around, because you have moved into a different pattern. And I'm so excited for you as well. And the last thing I want to talk about too on this edition of Sun Vibes is December 7th is a full moon. So it's our last full moon for 2023. So make sure if you have your attention letters and healing letters that you burn them safely, and just release whatever you want to heal from. Just between you and the universe, whatever you want to heal from and what you want to release that no longer serves you. And you can also do that, their attention letter, whatever attention you want to set it like it is. So your letters that you wrote back in on November 23rd, you can take those letters, those attention letters, healing letters, and make sure you burn them on a full moon. And then sometimes we forget about other letters that we had earlier in the year. So if you have some other attention letters or healing letters that you forgot to burn early, a couple months ago, and you find them now, you can burn those as well. Just make sure you continue to set those intentions, continue to just create and heal from all the pain that's within inside yourself. And the universe has already set up the people in your life that's going to help you on your spiritual journey back to yourself. So I look forward to speaking to you guys soon. I enjoyed this episode of Sun Vibes, where you get to discover your true authentic self. Make sure you email me, Ayasha, at urbansocializenj.com. Again, I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Have a happy holiday, and see you on the next edition of Sun Vibes. Bye and namaste.